are starting to learn me. I'm starting to learn them. Like the coaching staff has been like phenomenal in terms of, being able to, take me through, where we've been and trying to help me understand where we need to go. And I think that's the thing. It takes 11, right? So, like with that being said, we're just going to continue to keep challenging young men to be better. And I think that's where we're at right now.
It seemed like Sean Michael Flanagan had a more consistent role, or consistent, like he played more snaps this week. Was that what's he providing for you?
Experience. It's the money ball, effect. He's one of those guys who's been around the program, been in the program, played on special teams, what was sort of a Swiss Army knife, when somebody went down, when somebody had to step up. And I think now, he's a phenomenal athlete. He's just growing into his own. So, there were going to be guys this season who maybe, had smaller roles that are having to step into bigger roles. He's one of those guys. Not only is he having to take a bigger role on special teams, but he's having to, take a greater role within the defense because he's played in it. He has experience. And that's one thing about it, man. You can't microwave the experience piece. So, Flanagan's playing, really well for us right now. We just need to keep him playing consistent.
Reeled off on you? They had a couple. You guys or them? Just credit to them on getting loose?
Credit to them in adjusting the empty and moving the empty. Remember, we practiced that all week. For us, it came down to one of those moments where we just needed clear communication, and we didn't get it. So, again, it just lets us know, hey, that's one of those things that we have to continue to work on because this won't be the only team, or these two teams won't be the only teams that are going to look to scratch where it itches, right? Everybody's going to look to scratch where it itches, and those things are things that fundamentally, we got to work on this week because we'll see it next week.
Without the film, what improved from last week to this week, and what still needs some improvement?
Look, the biggest improvement, points, right? We gave up less points. We need to be better. Okay, man. I thought the explosives. We had some, but they weren't explosive touchdowns. And I think when you can limit explosives, man, it gives you an opportunity. Turnovers matter, right? Whether it's turnover on downs or flipping the field. And I thought our guys just played a cleaner ball game tonight. It wasn't as clean as any of us would like. But here's the deal. There's always tomorrow. So we're going to look at the film, and we're going to get back to the lab and make sure, man, when we come out next week, man, we try to play a cleaner ball game.
The one thing Tyler Lacey's kind of missed throughout his career is the pass rush.
Yeah.
He's got 2 sacks in 2 games now. How have you seen him grow in that aspect since you've been here?
Hey, look, he's challenging himself. We're challenging him to be an outside-inside guy. He's learning how to play the 3 technique. He's learning how to play a 4-eye, and that's different than, where he had been as a sophomore and junior. As a veteran now, I think, he's got big-time ability, and his ability to play inside is going to be a huge factor for this team because it's about being able to get our most productive and dynamic players on the field, right? And so, with that being said, man, we're going to make sure we keep rolling. I think we got a lot of depth, and a guy like Tyler Lacey, is starting to lead the charge. What he's got to continue to do is just make sure from week to week, the practices, because the way you practice is the way you play. That's what I truly believe, and I think he's had 2 good weeks of practice, so we just got to keep going in that direction.
You might have been asked about this, and I apologize, but the third down success. This team was so good at it last year. Mm-hmm. Is there something that you picked up on when you got here that made them so good at third downs? Because it looked like last year's team on third down tonight.
Yeah, I thought we were pretty good last week on third down. Yeah. This week, guys are taking the challenge of understanding that you have to win situational football to win games. How do you play in the red zone? How do you play on third down? It matters, right? You got to get teams off the field. If you don't get teams off the field, then it's more possessions, and more possessions lead to more explosives. So it's really trying to pull those things apart. Okay, how do we understand situational football? How much better do we have to be? And then I think in practice you get what you emphasize. You can't emphasize everything in practice, man. You got to emphasize the things that really matter, like in winning. And I think third down is definitely one of those things. Red zone, man. We got to continue to keep going in that area, but just emphasizing what's most important, like in the game that we love and the game we play.
And Did Trace take a step forward tonight too?
Yeah, he did.
It seemed like he was kind of closer to his old self.
Yeah, you know, we're not asking him. We're not asking him to be superhuman. The thing that we're asking him to do is be the best version of himself. So, like, in order to do that, man, you gotta. He needed plays, right? And I thought the more he played a little bit last week, played much more this week, and I think the more he plays, the better he's gonna get. You know, he's confident now. He's not worried about anything, man. He's excited about the idea of just, being back out there with his boys. Those guys went out to dinner the other night, and it was pretty cool to see them dudes. He looked happy, CEO looked happy, Brock looked happy. I mean, the old man, Brock's the old man, so he sort of, tugging everybody around. But it's just good to see, like, that group has, the D-line group's got a lot of chemistry, and I think a lot of leadership too. So it's just been good to see those guys, and Trace sort of not be the outsider anymore. Man, he feels like he's back in the group. And so, like, with that, man, you see a guy who I think is only going to get better and better.
For more information, you can visit TulsaWorld.com.